In the dark, creatures crawl into the underworld. Afterlife, an abyss protects you. In the light, goddess of the sun brings you life. A deity, best it is her name. Come learn the ways of man. Become one with the sand. The fate is in your hands. It's time to fight. You will rise, not fall. Never lose hope on the ground. We are one for all. The truth will always conquer. Capture the earth, chasing your mark. Get a lot mystical formation. Flows, the Nile is so exposed. The morning star is seen in our side. In the light, find your desert altar and your shrine. Look for peace, defeat the enemy. Run to the obelisk, defend this legacy. It's time to fight. You will rise, not fall. Never lose hope on the ground. We are one for all. The truth will always conquer. Capture the earth, chasing your mark. Get a mystical formation. Turn on the walls, beat on the drugs. Let us claim this. We rise, reach for the sky. Hold on to your weapons with pride. We rise up higher. Conquer the ark. Get ready to fight for your life. We rise up. We're the kings, we're the queens. We're the gods, gotta stop this animation. Turn on the walls, making our mark. 'Cause we're the kings, we're the queens. Let's win this war.
What is going on, Governors? Chiscool here, and today I'm joined by Dirty Dan Gaming. We're going to be casting the GV77 versus 60MX match. Good sir, how are you? And what are you hyped about for this upcoming match? Because, man, I actually have a lot I want to talk about.
I'm doing good. Glad to be running the second match with you, Chiz. And this one is going to be a battle of the heavyweights, a little bit different from the match that we just casted. Two very prominent teams here, GV77 being a former champion, 60MX being in the same kingdom as one of the best OL teams in the game. So leaning on the ability to kind of practice with them, and I think we're just going to see a slugfest in this match today.
Yeah, this is going to be brutal. It's the round of 16, and it's not the kind of matchup you probably expect to see in the round of 16, because it could pretty easily have been quarterfinals, semifinals, or maybe even the finals. I don't know. We're in the realm of Anubis here, and the teams are really powerful, but there's a couple things going on. Some of this we talked about earlier in our prior stream that I look forward to seeing, like the fact that 60MX has a few players that are bringing the V formation, aka we're going to see some ranged combat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, baby. Siege going on the field. The other thing that's kind of exciting about this match is that GV77's in KVK right now. Man, you got to make sacrifices to show up to this match, but you also pointed out their opponent also is in Ark of Osiris League right now, right? Like, what is going on here, man?
Huge slate of 15 UTC matches. GV77 or 2377, I should say, has two teams in Kingsland right now, but 24-29, their opponents or on the other side of the bracket are also in that same Kingsland. So you would think that the match would swing because one team's in Kingsland, but they're both in Kingsland at the same time. So it's going to be quite interesting to see. Yeah.
Yeah. An unusual evenness in the way that's working out. Often you'll see a team that's like, hey, we got KVK, we got choices to make, we should be fighting now. And the fact that both teams are in Kingsland and both are making the choice to probably play Arc is, I think, good, because then the Kingsland progression slows evenly, theoretically, for both sides. It is also kind of hype, by the way, this KVK that's going on between the folks that you mentioned earlier, and there's a bunch of other kingdoms in this KVK, because it's looking pretty even, and I don't know who's going to win. And I love when there's a KVK where it's not really clear who's going to win, and Kingsland is lasting a really long time. You'll love to see when Kingsland lasts a while. But this is not a KVK stream. We're here to cast Ark of Osiris. And in just a couple minutes, this match is about to begin. So we started to talk a little bit about how, hey, 60MX might be on the forefront of bringing some range marches, and we'll see what that looks like. But what sorts of things should we be maybe on the lookout for with these two kingdoms in the round of 16?
From trying to get a little bit of info on GV77, they actually kind of walked through their qualifiers, and it's really hard to get a gauge on a team. The closest match I could see, you could see the overwhelming presence. And we kind of talk about account status, and I think both of these teams are bringing just that. They're all going to have really well-versed accounts that are built for Osiris League. I think in the vision of 60MX, can they redeem themselves off the cusp of a defeat in an upset that they had last week against Evil Empire, 1EE8 falling to them? So maybe a little bit of a redemption match here and a little bit of a chip on their shoulder going into this with a little bit more to prove against GV77.
Yeah, 1EE8. We've seen them in the past. They're always up to shenanigans. I've fought against them in the past in KVK. I can speak from personal experience. Always up to shenanigans. So I think it is actually possibly one of the best possible things that could have happened to 60MX to take a loss when it didn't matter. Theoretically, right? Because if you're right, and it lit a fire under them to say, like, hey, hold up, wait a minute, we need to refine a few things, that is the best possible thing that can happen for a team, in my opinion. The worst thing that can happen is you don't get challenged enough, and then you get to the end game and you fight a team where, like, man, they outclass you, but you could have been better, and your weaknesses weren't exposed early when they could have been fixed and not cost you. So this will be really hyped to see if they're able to swing back around between the two teams. I mean, you mentioned GV77 is the former champion, so tough to beat a former champion here. But I think any team fielded by 1960 is dangerous.
Very scary.
Extremely dangerous.
One thing to note from them, as I've been watching, the mid game from them is so outrageously strong. So again, it's going to be a battle of heavyweights with really good accounts. So I'm curious to see that dominance that they've been able to put on other teams, if they can then put it onto GV77, who has a pretty massive power difference in this. So that'll be fun to look out for in those mid fights today.
Yep. Well, I'm going to jump into the match here. It's firing up in just a minute. They're in the preparation stage. Let's jump in and we'll continue to speculate on how this is going to go. All right, here we are in the matchup. GV77 in blue, 60MX from 1960 in red. A lot of KVK wins to their name, by the way. Most we've seen today, but not the most in the game, is it? I think there's someone who's got like 10 wins holding the Zig. It is kind of crazy.
You'd have to call that one out for me. I'm not sure.
No worries, no worries. So, and by the way, if you know what the name of the kingdom is, drop it in the chat, folks. Chat says 2377 no show, it seems, prioritizing KVK. I do not think that is true. They are here. We can see they are in the match. What you might have noticed, perhaps, chat, is that a lot of teams have a entrance order, and they want people that are joining rallies together to be near each other. They want people that are marching places to be toward the front or the back, depending on where they're going. So, chat is saying B2B no-show, perhaps?
Interesting.
Oh, yeah, let me just adjust this overlay real quick.
So back-to-back in
Great call out,
24, 29, fighting 2377 in that Kingsland, opting to push in KVK as opposed to go for... Oh, well.
I mean, it's very understandable.
Yeah.
But... given that you, I mean, yeah, no, it's very understandable. If you think you can get an hour of advantage in Kingsland, like, that's a flag.
Yeah.
That's a flag, baby. All right. Folks are on their way onto the map. And we do see the opener that you said, hey, this is standard, right? Standard way to gain some extra ability points.
That energetic.
It just, yeah. You're right. Every time, man. Is there some alternate opener that like everybody's sleeping on, do you think?
I don't know necessarily. I think having those, 3 potential skills to use, or even as I've seen as well in some openers, people will use Valiant Stand on advanced structures that they take from their enemies. That might be the only other play, but everything that I've seen so far, and I've been rewatching as much of these matches as I can to try and get some analysis on them. I've seen I'd say at least 95% opening up with energetic.
Yeah, it's just too strong. Skills like that, my feeling is that they either should be made a standard part of the way that the game mode works, kind of like how sentries changed, or the cost needs to be adjusted, that it's not an obvious, oh yeah, of course you must do this.
Yes,
in my perfect world, right? Like,
yeah.
And there's no knowing when a new season rolls up, like how it's gonna go. And it is possible there's a undiscovered meta here, that like hasn't been figured out. But teams of this caliber, they usually have a pretty good read, but they also don't want to take risks.
Yeah,
right?
not this late into it.
Right. Well, and you don't want to do it early either, because you don't want to show your hand of like, ooh, we got this cool thing nobody knows about, right?
Yeah.
So it's a tricky one. Playing safe, if you think you're better than the opponent, is almost certainly the way to go. And kind of to your point earlier of these teams having a very different punch level than what we were sort of spectating earlier, you just tap on each of these marches and you see their troop count is high. And you see some numbers that reflect some iconic equipment, baby. You mentioned this in our prior stream.
Yep. Huge. I mean, you're talking about almost, 20,000 on some of these troops. If 5 marches have, that's an extra 100,000. You multiply that by all the players you have. I mean, that's what you're going to start to see in these later matches. I think really start to matter. We saw that a few seasons ago when VIP, it was 18 came into the fold, and an increased troop capacities on that end. So this is almost to the same token. So I think, prioritizing people with really good gear, that awakened equipment, is definitely going to be something to look out for.
Hey, VIP 19 when, am I right? I don't know. VIP 19, to answer my own question, the developers did say they're waiting for a critical mass at prior levels of VIP before they go and they add in a new level of VIP. So we do have a little bit of information shared by the makers of the game on, when that happens. Not like a date commitment, but a series of things that must be true before they add more VIP. And hey, the jump in VIP is pretty major. So here we go. First brawl's unfolding. Looking for, or rather expecting to see, a pretty even spread of structures at the start, quite frankly. Like, in teams that are probably pretty evenly matched, I expect this to be an even break, and then the mid-fight is where things get spicy.
Absolutely. Could be a little bit of a... Here, just trying to, mess with the timings of some teams. You can see in that little provision spot, there is a Hera that I peeked in there. So if GV77 is able to get into this altar and sneak that Hera in there, that could cause some disruption for that first mid-arc rotation, as 60MX is going to want to have to get that back.
Pretty spicy. By the way, the March combinations we're seeing here are very similar to what we saw before. Even down to, like, the occasional Guans, which I find surprising. Like, I would have assumed Guan doesn't make the cut these days for these brawls, but it's interesting at this stage, do you really need the filler march that we talked about? So if you didn't see the stream earlier, we talked about how typically we're seeing 1 inf, 1 archer, 2 cavalry, and a filler and or rally or garrison is like what everybody's doing. And if you're only bringing 1 infantry march, I mean, Skippy Liu is where it's at, am I right? Like, budget version of that is Liu Alex, although, I don't know, you probably got the Skippy. You're not going to bench them.
No, you absolutely not. I think, as you said, alluded to in the last match too, with that new formation coming out, I think you'll definitely then see these teams start to bench some of the guys who aren't quite up to snuff if we are really going to get those 15% march speed on formations from reinforcing garrisons and rallies. So I think that's when you'll definitely see the shift in people going for like a 2-1-1 filler setup.
Hey, it's almost like I predicted this, but my friend, we see an even split on the buildings here, don't we?
Yeah, yes, we do.
Well, hold up. Wait a minute. A little bit of pressure here on the Shrine of War. And by a little bit, I mean possible 12x swarm incoming.
Yeah.
So now we see that Hera garrison. It's going to have to do work. YSS is in there. I mean, the answer's not Lapu Lapu, and YSS is getting pretty old. So, I don't know how I feel about this. Big W for GV77 in this attack, but here's the problem. How are these marches going to get to mid on time?
Yeah, we see them beelining for the obelisk for any cities that they're going to be able to
they're hitting
zero out on.
I really like hitting ob rather than a city here. Like,
yes, I agree.
On the one hand, they hit the cities, they can just get their marches home and make it to mid. On the other hand, if they take ob for any amount of time, it's going to force these guys to not be in middle, which is also a W, right? Like, you could get to middle faster, or you could force your opponent to not go to middle. Either works. Oh, looks like they changed their mind. They're going for the cities. I would have taken the ob personally, or tried to.
I would say the same thing too. There's more of an objective and more of a reason to do that. As city, it's just okay. We're going to get back as quick as possible. With obelisk, you might get a little extra goodie right there.
Yep. That said, these guys are the former champions, and we're just the commentators. So what the hell do we know? What they're doing is almost certainly the correct play. You know what I mean? But like, it's interesting to debate the choice. This is why they're the champions, and champions are so few in number. Because the choices are not necessarily obvious. So here we go. They're resetting their marches on these cities. To that end, by the way, it's not uncommon for people to set a city keeper garrison on their wall, just to slow the rate at which someone can refresh their marches there. Isn't that crazy?
I like that. I like that. I never even thought of that.
Just put a city keeper. There is downside though, which is you don't want to do that unless you have a lot of troops. Like,
very fair.
Oh, here it is.
There you go.
There it is. We called it. Specifically, you said, "Hey, this team does it," and here they are doing it.
And this is where you can see it kind of pestering a little bit. You kind of get antsy and you're like, I want to take this thing down, but it forces the position off of the Temple of Osiris if you're able to set that up properly, as 60MX has.
Look at that. Margaret Bobber just saying like, nope, here's the radius. You get within it, you get shot, son.
Very
That thing's
nice to
just
see.
cranking the DPS. Or is it? I don't know. It's taking 951 counter. It's doing 1,200.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see with the other Garrison, Cordoba, I believe it is. It seems that he's the guy with a little bit more punch. But yeah, I mean, even just from a positional standpoint, you can see it putting in work as these teams are getting ready for middle, and there's 3 altars in hand for 60MX right now too, so a little bit of an advantage going into this mid fight.
I mean, literally, just the one tower is controlling the position of this fight. Oh, and they're gonna move up the tower. I mean, why not? Yeah, put the tower closer, force them to keep going backwards. It seems reasonable to me.
Yeah, this is all again kind of
the tower, and the tower's still doing its job because it almost baited them to enter into the middle.
Dictate tempo.
Yeah, it's actually shocking how much control this march is exerting. This one march is exerting on the middle right now.
And we can see a little shift from the murder ball too. I don't believe GV77 is going to know that this shift is occurring too. So very nice play from a siege tower potentially be entering the meta for Osiris League here.
Yeah, there's the visual range for GV. This is what they see.
Okay.
Right? Not much, but then there's reality. A lot more coming. So I think for 60MX, it makes a lot of sense that they're waiting for this engage here, because they have a lot of troops coming. 125 left till the arc spawns in. And this building, the Sky Altar's changed hands a couple times here. We do see Redline. I saw his scout cruising around. He's been a caster. I've cast with him for Arc League before.
Yep, one of those main rally leads for 60MX.
Bogged down, active in the middle. Okay, here we go. Oh, they're getting after it. Holy smokes.
Bogged down in total vision from GV77 and Dust Up and Bogged down from 60MX.
So smaller point usage. 60MX. Only 6 points committed there to the 8 of GV. I'd rather commit more than less, personally.
Not. Is it paying off? There's a lot of sad faces. Oh man, this is a good mid fight.
This is a great mid fight. Not sure who's gonna win.
Think there's a little bit more reinforcements coming in for GV77.
They're gonna need them. That is a sad face train if I've ever seen one. And look, like 10 marches late does not do the same as 10 marches on time. I don't know who's winning this.
Here we go, 60. Oh man,
GV's looking pretty good somehow. Like they're all getting sad faced. Oh wait, no, now it's looking pretty rad. And they have the arc. Nook is cooking. Arc's on the move. Carrier taking damage. 4 stacks of poison on them.
that's all you want to. You just want to start moving that thing away, get it a little bit closer to your home structures. The refreshes are going to start to become a little bit more in favor, so every inch matters when you're taking these arcs.
Holy moly. So with a smaller point commitment, MX leaves with the arc.
That's that dominant mid presence I was calling out in the beginning of the match. They are just so good in the middle.
Chat, are you seeing this? This is a little bit crazy. MX staring down the champions in mid and saying, thanks for the arc. See you for the next one. Wow. Okay, well, hold up. Is GV going for the ambush? And it doesn't look like it, does it?
Usually a sound play. think they know if this, even if this turns into a 2-arc match, they got to just focus on structures now. If 60MX does decide to walk this back and hold on to it, get a little aggressive on structures, which in past matches that I've watched for this season, 60MX does falter a little bit. So let's see if GV77 can put the pressure on the structure game as they lose this first arc.
Pretty rough. I mean, they're not going for it either.
Mm-mm.
Wow. This match is spicy right off the rip.
Yeah, I wonder if they're the thing I always question too, when you're so dominant in the field, do you just cash it? You know, if you're that confident that you're going to do that showing, as you pointed out, with less skill point usage, do you just say, let's just go for it again?
I think the skill point usage would be the reason to go for it again. Because they know they would have a point advantage going into the next fight. That could make it worth going again quickly. And I think it would be very reasonable to do. I normally would say, well, I don't think so. Like, if they had used an even number of points there, I would say, just hold it.
Yeah.
It's both teams are too good. It's too unpredictable. But given that they have an advantage going into the next one on the points here,
Might as well take it.
in the ability points, yeah, I think so. Take it, use the points, claim the advantage, and press your lead, and then hold that arc would be what I would expect to see. It's maybe I'm saying that wrong. It's not necessarily what I would expect to see. It's what I would anticipate. It's what I would do. It's what I would look to do.
I agree. Yeah, I would make that call too. If this was me on voice, let's go cash it, get the second one, as you pointed out, up on the points, and then we take it, and then we just hold, and we just kind of, you know, let that time kind of trickle down and force them to do something fancy.
It does look like GV77 is hitting back here and taking some structures, which is really kind of where they need to be at this point. By the way, you remember how those marches were late to middle from GV? I wonder if that was those marches we were talking about where we said, oh man, they're resetting on the cities, but is it too late? Remember that?
Yeah.
That could have been it right there, actually. Timing is everything.
It's like we were alluding to in last match with those openings. I mean, you can even have a really good opening where you take a structure, but you gotta make sure you get back to middle.
Right. Right. Energetic used again here. Xeno Garrison by GV. Interesting. So we seeing like a Xeno Gorgo here? What is this? I'm all the way over at the Sky Altar.
Yeah, I think Xeno. So hard with all the skills.
It is very difficult to see. I saw I see Xeno's animation.
YSS.
Really?
Yeah, I saw the boat.
This is like almost a backup Garrison. That somebody's like, it's not my best, but.
Almost a minute and a half though, stalling the points from 60MX. So, you know, again, it's the little things. The little things right here are going to matter. Even if you're not taking those points necessarily, you're still having some effect, you know, by denying the point accumulation.
Yep, board is even for now, but that's before accounting for the arc. And then MX does recapture their Sky Altar here. Shrine of Life. Under some pressure. Henry, not really the Garrison captain you're looking for.
A little bit of anti-swarm on him.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just have what you have, and you use what you have, right? Like,
yeah.
This player's got gear and armaments. All right, promote.
That is generating points for them right now too. So,
yeah, they straight value holding that, and they're at 670 points per minute. The 360 of MX, which is really not enough to offset the arc. I mean, they would need to maintain this lead for like the full 15 minutes, which I don't think they're going to do.
Yes, but you know what will offset that arc? Provisioners. I see.
Okay, we're already talking about provisioning.
I see 4 on the field for GV77 right now. I like to look for provisioners after the first arc, and I see 4 on the field for GV77 right now.
A lot of scramble here in this Garrison captain situation. We did see a Plato Garrison special for a moment, the Nevsky. But they are on the Skippy Prime now, and there's the Hera. Okay, great. Nice. For those that don't know, Plato is another caster for OL. This season and in last season I cast with him. He had a little mishap with the captain on his wall. Pro tip, don't reinforce a garrison with your garrison captains. Whoopsies.
It happens. He gets frantic in those situations.
Hey, it happens
I know
to the best of us.
Yeah.
He made a really funny video about that, but like there's some real honesty around like, hey man, when that's happening, like your heart can really get racing, and it's weird because like, you don't expect it. Like at one time I got double rallied, and I think it was the second KVK ever, the second KVK that ever happened, actually, and I couldn't find my random teleport or a teleport at all. So after the rally ended, I was blind. It was like I literally couldn't see. Like I could see, but I just couldn't find what I was looking for. I don't know. Stressful situations. Stocking up. Hey, wait a minute. That's a new one. 60MX. What are they up to, man?
So I guess they have to be provisioning as well to an extent. I believe that's going to give them more points for provisions gained, but I'm honestly unclear if that they need to return to the city. I do see 2 provisioners for them as well. Interesting play there.
Yeah, it's really, I would say, unexpected. The way they're using their advantage is actually converting the extra ability points into a provisioning advantage as well. So they are actually looking really dangerous from a leaderboard standpoint for GV. Because if they've got the provisions and they've got the edge already, you have to just win a lot of arcs here. The arc has been captured, 35 minutes remaining. And in 6 minutes, it spawns back in the middle. And these guys are maybe a little early to mid.
I see both teams saying, we need this one.
Yeah, both teams going middle already. I would anticipate that, like, at the 6 minute mark, maybe you're, like, starting to go to the middle. Like, if you're on the outside and it's 6 minutes, I would be marching toward the middle starting now. But they've got stuff to do, so, like, not now, but, like, if you weren't being attacked, that's what you'd be thinking about doing. Henry rally here. Doing its thing. You mentioned earlier, Henry Ash is kind of where it's at, right?
Yeah. It's a little difference too. I saw Red in some previous matches kind of playing a little bit more to a specialty with the Justinian, but I guess opting for the switch here is, again, we've seen a lot of teams just going with that Henry Asher.
Powerful combo and big play on this building. Sky Altar flips. So this time, do you think MX is going for buildings now? No. They're not flipping the script, are they?
Potentially. I like this play, and Plato kind of opened my eyes up to this a little bit. When you take those outside structures, those outside lanes right before an arc, it's really devastating because you are then again controlling the tempo. You're forcing the farthest structure of importance from the middle, and you're really making the opposing team choose what they want to do. Do you want to send those resources late into mid, or do you want to send those resources to get something back that you should be holding?
Always good to be the one asking questions rather than being the one who's trying to have all the answers, in my opinion. That questions and answers mindset I learned from playing competitive card games once upon a time. But I think the ability to ask tough questions in an ARC match is much better than having all the answers, because you control the pace. So to your point, you take that outside building, you ask a question. What matters more to you? Going to the middle? Getting this building back? Can you get this building back from us? It's nice to be the one asking the questions rather than the one having to have the answers.
Absolutely.
Speaking of which, mid-fight. Oh, baby. Here comes the tower. I'm going to have to put in a request for some cartoon / carnival music to play when the tower's just shooting people, you know? Bring some levity to it. Here it goes. Jeez.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought that the siege towers would have had a place in Osiris League of all places?
Yes, the tier 5 siege units would be controlling who stands where in the middle of an Ark of Osiris match. Yep, here we are. It's 2024. Things have changed. I mean, like, there's probably other things I should look at, but I kind of just want to watch that ranged march flunk away. It's just so satisfying. Yeah. Honestly. Like, and it's not even doing that much damage, truth be told.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just purely there to control that position, which is it's huge. It really is. A lot of teams like to come up and sit on the temple or get right in front of it, and you know, look how far they're off of the middle. It's insane.
It's incrementally winning the normal counter trade, but then the skill damage just really tips it over.
Yeah.
Guy's like, wait, what's hitting me? Where am I even supposed to go right now? Yep, now he's taking out the vision. I mean, like, thing is a menace. Oh, there it is. The sentry's down. Let's shoot that guy. GG, man. The sentry goes down. That's crazy.
Real quick, just before this mid-fight starts, I just looked up the stocking up just to get a little bit more of an accurate. So it's every 3 provisions your team gathers from caravans and delivers up to 1,500 provisions. Your team will gain 0.1% of an energy bar. And it'll last for 600 seconds.
Well, that's economy right there.
That's in play for quite some time right now.
Yeah, economy and points. Wow. Okay, now they're moving in. This Arc Brawl's about to happen. Ooh. Oh, this guy's he's dismounting. Oh, he canceled the order. He's staying there. Never mind. All right, here we go.
Oof.
Dust Up and Bog Down have been activated. Huge brawl going on now. This is very critical. If GV is going to stay in this game, they've got to capture this arc now or on the backswing. MX, if they can take this arc, opens up such a lead that they're going to be difficult to beat in the match, especially if they've got the provisioning game running.
Yeah. I think GV might sneak this out, having that to the death advantage, potentially.
Oh, yeah. That's a big one. MX now using to the death.
Oh, man.
What a commit to this arc. I mean, if you use it now, you're basically saying, we think we're losing, and we think this skill will be the difference between win and loss. And my suspicion would be that they maybe didn't have enough points by like 1. They were off. So they delayed their engage, but GV starting that fight when they did really made the difference. GV's got this one for sure. I think it was too late for that ability.
Yeah, I think so too. That was good on GV to push that narrative in the middle.
Yeah.
And not really waiting.
Almost certainly a bad call, as it turns out, to have used to the death there. Unless they get this arc on the backswing, and then everything that happened leading up to that point got us to that point, right? But I don't know that that's going to be the case. Well, this match just gets more spicy. Chat's got a lot to say here. Waste of points. Waste of TTD. Waste of to the death. Too late, says Rabbit Gaming. All in MX. That is a very all-in play. I mean...
What do we see here from GV? Are they going to cash this thing or hold it?
They have to cap it, I think.
Yeah.
You're right to ask the question, but I think the answer is cap that sucker. They need arcs badly. If they're down on provisions. I don't know. They've got to be down. I don't know. Actually, I just don't know. So let's think through this, right? They cap this arc. It gets them a moderate amount of points. If they wait, then they're signaling they think they'll win incrementally. If they don't wait, then they're signaling that they can just win the slugfest again. I don't know what to do. Chat, what would you do? Chat, what would you do? C for cap it, H for hold. C or H, cap or hold. Put it in the chat.
I think we got on GV side 5 provisioners. I don't see any more on 60MX's side either. So kind of empty usage on that stocking up if you're not going to be provisioning anymore. And that stocking up use could have allowed them to use to the death a little bit earlier.
Yeah, it could be an issue. I see C's, I see H's, and I see F's in the chat. Yeah, so I think... Well, hold up. They're going for the carrier. All right. Now it's getting spicy again. Really good ambush route running right here by these two marches. This Alexander the Great. My bro's got freaking wings on those boots.
Wheeling, oh my lordy.
Yeah. I mean, triple line formation, man. You're gonna fly. 360,000 troops though in that army. My bro just got exposed for a 25% expansion in Ark of Osiris League. Am I wrong? That's gotta be a yikes or a preset issue. Whoops. Wait, why'd he stop though?
Yeah, now he's sleeping.
Yikes. Dude's got all kinds of issues. Uh-oh. Alright, here we go. This is actually happening. So they are contesting this arc all over again. I would give them 30 seconds to get control of this situation. And if they can't get complete control, like all GV has to do is stall at that point. And if they can just stall, then they'll keep refreshing from cities really close and they'll be fine.
I think GV definitely going to want to make a move soon with, I think now I see 4 altars in hand for 60MX. So GV is going to have to move and make a decision with this thing, cash it or get moving on getting some of these structures back. Because I think I see some tension, but yeah, the points per minute swinging for 60MX, 510 points per minute for them and 290 for GV.
Oh wait, I'm wrong about that 25% expansion, by the way. He's definitely got a 50. I'm thinking of KVK March sizes because I'm in KVK, right. 430. Yeah, no. The only person I exposed is myself and my lack of knowledge. 360 actually implies a huge amount of troops in the army. I wonder, doesn't triple line have an inscription that gives you more troop capacity? I think it might be a special inscription that gives you more troop capacity.
Let's see, I'll go try and find this real quick.
But they do get the arc and they run away with it. So that worked out kind of the way I would have anticipated. It's a little bit of a Hail Mary to do what they did there, going for the arc carrier.
Yeah, I don't think it costed them too much, though, knowing that they were up on the points. So knowing that they can kind of release some of those resources in holding structures. So with this arc now, I'm pretty sure this becomes a pretty even match. I think 3,500 points. So I think GV will be up about 300 points after cashing this arc right now.
Yeah. Chat says, okay, chat has my back. They're like 25% will be 260K. So that 60K number stood out in my mind. I did have that right, perhaps. But chat also says maybe it's just a filling March, which would make sense for triple line. And they had a Julius Caesar for the extra troop capacity. Yeah, pro tip, both Freddy and Caesar have that 15% extra troop cap. The reason people use the Caesar over the Freddy, however, is for the march speed that you get from the relic. That's where the troops came from. Good job, chat. Chat's got this.
Arc cash too. All right, we're gonna get a third arc soon.
I feel like just dunking that thing, you know, was the play. Let's go for more arcs. They deliver it. They get another opportunity. Under the assumption that they're out provisioned, which would be pretty reasonable to assume, given the presence of the provisioning ability on the enemy's skill bar. Like, you want more cushion.
Never know.
Ragnar has 15% as well. Touche. I think more people have the Caesar maxed, in part because he's just been around for longer. But newer players of the game probably have an even amount of those commanders. Caesar, the Freddy, the Ragnar.
Yeah.
Ragnar does have the benefit of a heal reduction effect. Oh, this captain. Aye. Joan, that ain't it. But sometimes you just have what you have. And even switching captains can be really hard. I would know, I'm not very good at it.
Definitely a lot of pressure from, and especially too, I know these teams are definitely top of their game, but sometimes in those voice chats might get a little chaotic. Oh, I need captain switch here, need captain switch here. And, you know, there's a lot of technicalities that go into this that we don't see, that we just kind of take it for face value as we see these teams perform. But there's a lot going on behind the scenes, whether that's voice chat, again, kind of calling out middle fights, how skilled are you in selecting commanders and actually targeting the right ones. So a lot of technicalities that really go into these arc matches.
Scott says, I swear if MX loses because of provisions, I'm going to cry.
2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row.
That'd be so bad. Oh, that'd be so brutal. But this time they are provisioning. Did they provision last time? Or is this a change up?
I think last time they did a little bit, but not enough.
Yeah. Got some good backline disruption going on. That says Ragnar has 10%. Oh, I don't know which it is. 10 or the 15.
Dead even right now in terms of points, pretty much.
Yeah, both teams have a mystery ability that they haven't used yet, by the way. Chat, you have any guesses what these mystery abilities are? What's the last skill on the bar? This game's pretty hype. This is what I like to see, honestly.
Yeah, 4 minutes down now. Everyone getting ready for mid. This will be a big fight.
Chat says total vision for MX.
Could also be Heaven's Grace is one that we've seen them use in the past.
Yeah. Han also guessed that in the chat. Yeah, Heaven's Grace. God Straight says Mr. Hope can't random TP and swarm them. Wow. Yeah, so for those that didn't know, where are they? Wild Lion and Mr. Hope, both over 1 billion power here. So, yeah, no, if they could take an MX Obelisk and port in, you literally just swarm cities nonstop. It'd be a little weird because MX is the kind of group that would heal through it. You know, this is like, fine, I'll use my healing speed ups. But like, it would be very disruptive if they get an ob and end up in the back line. Like, I can't think of a more disruptive pair of players to have in your back line, right?
Absolutely. Talk about not
2
kneeling
billion
feeding
power
speed
players.
ups.
Dude, what do you do about that? You can't swarm them back. Like,
Nope. You gotta live with that all day.
yep, you're just living with it for the rest of the match. There's the arrow tower. There's Dust Up. Huh. Are they about to initiate this fight? They've got a little bit of time. Like, Dust Up lasts a while.
Yeah.
It's reasonable to cast it early, unlike To the Death, which you do not want to cast early because it only lasts a short window of time. Dust Up, if I'm remembering correctly, has got like a 3-minute, yeah, lasts a while. 180 seconds, I think I saw there.
Yep. Little shift on the murder ball there.
Yeah, they're snaking around. I'm not sure why. Like, it actually has moved them further away from their support. But I'm not sure. I mean... Oh, there goes the siege tower. Relocating. A little bit of action in their back line.
So disruptive when
It's a
that
little
happens.
hectic here. Some people going forward, some people going backward. There's the bog downs. Here it is. Mid brawl number 3. This is what
could
you're
be
here
better than
for. Drop some hype in the chat. Let's get some GVs in the chat if you think they're going to win. Some MXs in the chat if you think they're going to win. Who's winning this mid fight? Drop it in the chat. GV for blue, MX for red. Torn between sort of being zoomed in, want to see the
Yeah.
action, versus zoomed out to see what's coming to the fight, you know?
Those reinforcements definitely matter. Let's see if it is enough. GV has used more skills in this mid fight so far.
Dot mode makes it look pretty even.
Pretty even indeed. Points per minute. Pretty big swing right now for GV. 530 points per minute for them. 390 for 60 MX. So a little bit of a point boost there. Trying to win this mid fight and get this second arc.
MX really does, I think. I mean, both teams, I think, need this arc. I don't
sure.
think the provisioning from MX will get them the W. But I have no clue what I'm talking about. I haven't looked to see how much provisioning they're doing, right? Like, maybe it is enough to get the W.
I mean, if they learned anything from last week's match, they're definitely going to be provisioning a little bit, at least a little bit. To lose, I don't think they would want to lose 2 weeks in a row to provisions.
This looks pretty blue.
Might not
GV
even
is
come
taking this
down to
arc.
provisions.
So, GV gets this arc. We saw MX hit him on the backswing last time. They're definitely doing it now.
Yep.
I mean, if they were going for the arc carrier the first time around, they're definitely going for the arc carrier now. So we should see a big press, and we do. Look at that. I mean, it's funny. You know, you look at the map, and I'm like, I don't know. Are they going for the arc? Are they? But like, you know, like, look at this. Look at those dots. Look at all those dots. They're going for the arc carrier. That's not a question mark. That's
They
an
have
exclamation point.
Yeah, this is a must win, or not even a must win. This is just to just control, right? Even if you're not going to cash the arc. I mean, you have the ability now with 13 minutes, 13 and a half minutes to cash it, 13:40 left in the match. All the control is now in your hands with having this arc, so they have to go for it.
They're not going to
It's
catch
make or
this
break.
carrier, though.
Yeah,
This thing's
awful.
flying. Have you ever seen an arc carrier move this fast?
Not that fast, no.
That's insane. So they got the Julius Caesar for the troop capacity and the extra troops. Or sorry, the troop capacity and the extra march speed. Let me just say the same thing twice. They're flying. Double C for mobility. Couple folks are coming in though, and in hot.
60, yeah, coming in real hot.
Jeez.
Yeah, it would be a shame too to see if 60MX leaves a skill on the board too. I mean, this is it. You have to expend everything you got. It'd be a real shame to see if they go out on a L without using that last skill.
Arc is down. It is shockingly close to this Shrine of War. This is the danger zone. We're in it. They've got maybe 2 minutes to make this happen.
Yep.
And that's generous, because I think like they're so right, like GV is so close on this refresh comparatively that
a lot quicker refreshes. I mean, they have to get the arc, control it, they have to get one of these structures. There's just a lot to do for 60MX right now, whereas GV just kind of has to stay composed, keep refreshing, just maintain that control, and you'll be okay.
Yep, arc is now down. Dot mode conveying that GV's still got a lot of control of this situation. As long as they can keep their hands on the arc to prevent MX from taking it somewhere, they could be fine here.
GV using a lot of resources for this. 620 points per minute now in favor of 60MX, 350 for GV77. We got like a 200 point difference here, Chiz. This is going to go down to the wire.
Yeah, I mean, if they maintain that difference for 11 minutes, 2,200 points on the board, that would be big. Right? That plus provisions could be the difference. So it's possible MX has some alternate win conditions here. It all depends on whether or not GV is provisioning, and I think they are.
Yeah,
wow.
Even though 60MX has used that provisioning skill, from what I've been kind of glancing out on my screen as well, GV's been provisioning with at least 3 or 4 marches this entire match.
Oh yeah, okay.
So again, very interesting to see 60MX using a provision skill and not getting a lot of like top tier value out of it, as they didn't have any provisions on the field at any point since casting that skill. So
let's see here. I don't think they want to just dunk this arc. They want to wait a couple minutes, presumably. I don't think they want to have another arc spawn in. So keeping this thing maybe back over here. I mean, off to the left somewhere, like kind of far away, but not too close to the obelisk. But this looks pretty safe at this point. Like this is about as safe as it's gonna get. That arc is chilling.
Yeah, that is deep in there now. So I think the only thing left to do here from 60MX is you gotta get all structures and just hope that's enough, and then hopefully maybe provisions, unless you see a master strategist and you see the entire team going for that arc.
Yeah, this is pretty brutal. They are going for the Shrine of Life, kind of. I mean, they just don't have the structure game they need right now. Points per minute even flip back to GV. Some of these buildings are just chilling. No way MX comes back, chat says. Impossible. Looks tough, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, nothing's impossible, chat, when you can provision 4,500 points worth of points. So I don't think that'll be the case here, but yeah, it's definitely not outside the realm of a possibility.
Look at all these people messing with the people messing with the arc here. You know, like, often we see the arc under escorted. I would say that's maybe a little over escorted at the moment. But like, I don't know, man. It's just for the next, I mean, they should just score it now, actually. But for like the next 60 seconds or so, just a little bit of risk.
Yeah, I think you're right on that call. Just cash it now. You'll get an arc spawn, but there's not going to be enough time Unless it's a master
Presumably.
strategist. Yeah, unless it's a master strategist play, but there shouldn't be enough time.
Yeah, I think they want to hold it long enough to rule out a master strategist play.
Mm-hmm. Someone in the chat saying GT would beat GV. Well, we will get that. They are on the same side of the bracket, so I believe in the semifinals they would meet.
And just looking around the map here, looking pretty solid for GV, although they're behind on the leaderboard, technically. They just lost their Shrine of War. The Ark has not been captured. I feel like at this point, shouldn't they have just captured it?
Yeah, I think so.
What are they up to? You could put this in literally any city.
This is the point where I wish I was in their voice chat to hear what's going
What are
on.
they doing?
Cash the Ark, cash it.
Oh, maybe the time is actually different.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, ours on. Yeah, I think there was that little bit of a differential out there, and there it goes.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a differential between the time displayed and the actual time in the last match. Okay. So now we're cruising in on final score at this point. 6:18 left on the clock, which means we're on our way to that final score. It keeps flipping back and forth who's getting more points per minute, so I don't think that's going to be the differentiator. Now it's just provisions.
I think, yeah. I think that's gonna have to be it. And they have kind of provisioned a little bit. 60MX with I believe it's around 1,000. GV742. So they're definitely in play. Is it gonna be enough?
Desert Altar flips back to GV.
That's the main thing too. They need to not only kind of throw out provisioners now, but they need to maintain their structures. They can't be losing structures, especially if it's their home ones.
Yeah. In this case, it was GV's altar that they had a hold of, so it was an offensive altar. But like, they need those points per minute right now pretty badly.
Yeah.
That says pull off a 1EE8. Chat also says you have to be provisioning from the start to get 4K provisioning points.
Yes, from what I've watched with 1EE8, that is true. And the amount of provisioners they also throw out, I know they have at least 2 dedicated players with upwards of like 8 marches right off the bat. I've seen as much as 1EE8 provisioning 14 marches at a time.
Jeez.
And how they're able to maintain midfield presence at times. I think on the second arc last week, they beat 60MX while still having the provisioners. So how they do it, I don't know. Maybe to do like an interview would be a nice little segment, but they really do some funky stuff over there, which I love to see.
Well, it would take some funky stuff to change who's the winner of this match on the leaderboard. Although points per minute are creeping up. There's just not enough minutes left for MX.
Gotta go all in here. All in approach.
Chat says 1EE8 got 3K provision points in the last 1 minute. Ain't no way.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no way 3K provision. Oh, maybe their provisioners all turned in the last minute.
Yeah, from cashing it in.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was like, ain't no way they picked up those points in the last minute. They shouldn't do anything but provision. You get those kind of points. 31-7 to 28-4. Pretty big gap to just make up in provisions alone.
Yeah, without having that constant provisioning presence, as Chad is alluding to. And again, as I kind of poked around, 60MX at one point pulled all of them off the field. So a little indecisiveness on provisions, a little indecisiveness on skill usage, I think is going to be the potential downfall, I should say. It's not over yet, but the potential downfall of 60MX here.
Yeah. I'll take this moment to remind folks that we're on the official Rise of Kingdoms channel, where there'll be more casting every single week, so consider smashing subscribe if you haven't already. You can also check out myself and Dirty Dan on YouTube. Our links are in the description of this video for our own channels as well. And I think this matchup, 2 minutes 40 left, 3,000 point differential here. I mean, it's
steep.
close, but not that close. Structure game's even too. Points per minute are almost even here.
You would need to see the entire board red.
Yep, there it is,
in this
provisioners. It's
situation.
all provisions now. This is the only thing left. Well, even red line's provisioning, man. This is the only thing left.
That's how you know there's a Hail Mary going. The red line has to break out the provisioners.
Yep, every one of these is provisioners. And this guy's just looking for, you don't know where the spots are. It's the problem.
Yeah. One thing that 1EE8 does, and it's to their testament of just being so knowledgeable and OL, they actually use their hidden sentries to find provision spots.
Wow.
So that just shows you how knowledgeable they are, that they don't really need them to, identify where the enemy is. Say, hey, let's use them and find nodes.
Wow. That's crazy. Oh, yeah. Look, that's what they did here. Hidden sentry on the provisions.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Because, look at all this land that's just, chilling, unfarmed.
Yeah. Yeah, you could really be walking around for a while out there without finding any provision nodes if you don't use those hidden sentries.
Huh. Yeah, wow. GV has done exactly that, dropping the sentries to find the nodes. Wow. MX sentry going down.
It's so funny to see two of the biggest whale kingdoms just going at it at farming at to close out
farm, everybody farm. It's the only thing that can save us now. Everybody provision. If I look to any one moment here that really could have been big, I would say that the way that To the Death was deployed was pretty big.
Yes. Yep.
If they'd done their skills in a different order, that could have been different, right? If they'd started with To the Death and let the other ability wait. I don't know. I don't know.
No, I agree. I think that's the biggest one there, because as you said, you only have a minute on To the Death, right? And although they popped it a little bit late, it was too late. They didn't have enough presence there to get full value out of that skill.
Right. I mean, the ability is just too strong.
Mm-hmm.
That says GV is going to have more points and provisions anyway. At the breakdown in just a second here, chat. We'll look at it together and see how this works out. But this will mean that MX is going to be eliminated from the tournament if they do not. I mean, whichever team wins continues. Whichever team loses is eliminated. So
you could also see next week, I believe, GV2377's other team was fighting. I think 2260H is right below them. So you might see 2377 versus 2377 next week.
Well, score's still going up. The time for our spectating has ended. So it ain't over till we see the final leaderboard. But I doubt the differential will change much. There it is. Wow.
GG's.
Ultima MVP, 224,000 points, but provision score 3,200 to 2,900 almost.
Yeah, not much of a difference as we thought it would be. Really, that second arc on GV taking that one and then being able to dominate on the third as well.
Huge GG's here, man. fun match. Really good game. Closing thoughts?
I'm just excited. This Osiris League's been so fun to cover so far, and especially being able to now cover on the official channel with you, Plato. And the matches are only going to get better. So stay tuned, guys. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe for the official Rise channel here.
There you go, baby. We'll be back next week for more matches. Subscribe, and until next time, you have fun smashing the kingdom. Good luck, everybody. See you soon.